So I've got a story for you about a young Olenna Tyrell. Well, she was actually Olenna Redwyne at that point when she was unmarried. The Redwynes come from the Arbor, which is this island off the coast of the Reach. And the Reach, and especially House Tyrell, have always been very loyal to House Targaryen. Long-time supporters. Now in the year 228 AC, that's the year Olenna is born. To give you a bit of context, we join the story in 298 AC. So Olenna is 70 years old when we first join the story. A lot of people have asked, is she going to be in this new Game of Thrones spin-off, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms? No, that happens a little while before Olenna is born. Now, when she was a girl, she was betrothed to Prince Daeron of House Targaryen. And there's a lot of Daeron Targaryens. This one was the third son of King Aegon V and Queen Betha Blackwood. Now, Daeron and Olenna, they weren't even teenagers yet. They were betrothed to one another, but it was going to be a while before they actually were married. Now, King Aegon V and Queen Betha Blackwood, they had a bit of a problem with getting their children to stick with their engagements. They had multiple incidents where their kids pissed a lot of people off. Firstly, the eldest, Prince Duncan, Daeron's oldest brother. He was meant to marry a Baratheon girl, and he sacked that off and he married Jenny of Oldstones, who is essentially a commoner. And then you've got Prince Jaehaerys and Princess Shara, who are Daeron's older brother and sister. And they were meant to marry other people, and they wanted to marry each other. And that was not the plan. It used to be the Targaryen way, but they were doing things differently now. So Jaehaerys and Shara, they wound up getting married, and that was it, done. It was a done deal. There is a discussion of, well, was Daeron inspired to call off his engagement to Olenna Redwyne because his older siblings had done the same thing, and they'd kind of gotten away with it, and it was all right in the end. We don't know exactly how this betrothal was ended, but it was called off. And the talk is that Daeron was most likely gay, that he had a guy who was like his squire, his companion, his roommate. Daeron never married, so that's been taken as, was he a bachelor by choice, so that he could keep up this private clandestine relationship with his friend. Now, we don't have a POV from Olenna Tyrell. I wish we did, but we do have something that she says to Sansa Stark. Book 3, A Storm of Swords. Actually, like one of the first couple of chapters, and it's when Sansa first meets Olenna, and she says to Sansa, "They tried to marry me to a Targaryen once, but I soon put an end to that." Now, I do think we have to take this with a pinch of salt, because there's a reason why Olenna is telling Sansa this story. Olenna has an agenda. She wants Sansa to warm to her. She wants Sansa to drop her guard. She wants Sansa to know that betrothals and things like that, they can be called off. It can be done. And I think that is why she's sharing this story with Sansa. Did Olenna call it off? Maybe her and Daeron got together and they were like, look, neither of us want to marry each other, so let's do what we need to do and just tell them we ain't getting married. And they don't marry. And then Olenna is free to marry Luther Tyrell, who ironically was meant to marry Princess Shara, and he was one of like the dumped ones. So he and Olenna, they get together, and it's not really a love match because Olenna doesn't really speak very highly of Luther, but he was the one who was going to allow her to have children, and these were the children that Olenna could use in the Game of Thrones. She may have been born a Redwyne, which is a prosperous house in and of itself, but she's a Tyrell by nature. Olenna is a survivor. She's a hustler. That's the Tyrell way. Maybe she knew, I'm never going to have kids with Daeron, so let's end this before it's even begun. But in an alternative universe, if things had gone a little bit differently, yeah, Olenna Redwyne could have been Olenna Targaryen.